Hello and welcome to Keep On Cybertruckin, a podcast where Cybertruck owners share their experiences, talk about all things EVs as well as technology. We have Will. Will's back. He took last week off, but he's back. And we have Chase, as always. Well, last week, Will, we definitely missed you for many, many reasons, but probably the thing that we really needed you on the show for was, you know, the ever popular Kim Kardashian. There was a photo shoot that she did last week that we wanted your thoughts on and kind of get some of your insight into her life, because
I've had a lot going on. I haven't seen these photos just yet.
Here they are.
The new Tesla OnlyFans crossover. We're gonna start.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to, come out of the gates real hot. So here you go. Here's some photos of her in love with her Optimus.
I like that it says spicy new photos of her. I think it said with her. Yeah. Of her with. Okay, I thought it was like.
Yeah. I mean, she's
with her cybercab. I'm like, she doesn't have a cybercab.
Wait. What is this though? Like.
Yeah, she's sitting. Well, I mean, I'm looking at it. It looks like she's sitting on the lap, but the Optimus, I think, has different
for
plans.
those audio only listeners.
Yeah.
This is yeah. The buttfucker 9000. I don't know.
So yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts, comments, opinions, but you are our resident Kim Kardashian knower of all things. So
yeah, I think that as we said in the pre-show while we were talking, I'm like, yeah, it looks like she got paid to do this, and I'm sure that there's the question. I think was okay, but like why her? And I'm like, I don't think that she's necessarily one. I think that a lot's happened since the Cybertruck came out and even the robotaxi thing on October 10th. I feel like everybody feels like it's been like 6 months, but it's only been like 5 weeks or 6 weeks. And
right.
I think that there's a lot of celebrities who are distancing themselves for the potential fallout of whatever mixture is we're going to see play out from the guy who's the head of the company that we all admire and love the products of, to the guy who's now going to get involved in politics and government directly. And so I think a lot of celebrities are kind of shying away from being connected with that brand until maybe it's safe again, or maybe it's just culturally forgotten. But Kim doesn't seem like the type who's ever been limited that way. I think that she, chances are, was kind of like, you know what, we're going to do a whole thing. We're going to pay you a whole bunch of money. And I think that she was like, bet, I'll be there on Monday or whatever.
More than likely, that's how it went down.
I don't know. It could be. I did hear just a really brief thing on the political thing. I heard that Kim Kardashian's stepdad is looking to possibly run for governor of California. So maybe that's an angle that's playing out here.
Who's Kim Kardashian's stepdad?
Caitlyn Jenner, stepmother, I guess at the point.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So who knows?
I don't see that necessarily gaining a whole lot of steam, but I don't know. I'm obviously so far out of touch with politics that the last few weeks have been very jarring to me. So, I don't think that. I just think that she's kind of an opportunist that has always come out of every situation fairly spotless. Like there hasn't been a lot
100%.
of anything that really sticks to her in a negative way. And so, I mean, I feel like she probably feels safe to be like, you know what, it doesn't matter. I can go do this Tesla thing, and then 6 months from now, if I have to disavow all of it, I'll do it.
I think I joked about this last week too. Is that it's funny how earlier in this year that we were complaining about how Tesla didn't have any PR and how horrible like their PR stance was, and then fast forward 6 months and we've got like spicy photos with Kim Kardashian and her Optimus robot.
Well, I think that's where I'm sure there's a lot of people that are listening or watching that go, why are you guys talking about this? Mm-hmm. And I think for me, the biggest reason why I think this is, I don't know if I want to say a head scratcher, but just something that makes me kind of pause is the fact that how exactly what you said, Chase, that Tesla is notorious for not having a PR department, so to speak. Doesn't put out a lot of news on their end. They kind of rely on their owners to do a lot of their promotion for them.
Yeah.
That's why they kind of, they have that referral program and they do a lot of that type of stuff. But then when you look at the fact that Kim Kardashian is taking spicy photos, as they say, with the robo-taxi and Optimus, it just makes me think, and this is where I get, the head scratching. How much money did you pay her to do that?
Exactly.
And if you're going to spend that type of money, because it's a lot for promotion, I think there's other ways you could have done it. Maybe this is what they want and it's going to give them what they're looking for. But there's
other people, if I can try to reinterpret it, it sounds like you're trying to say that there are other people that they could partner up with that maybe might get Tesla as a brand further than going back to someone like him.
Or just put some billboards up.
Yeah.
Just do a commercial marketing. Or two.
Yeah.
It's like, do you really need to spend the money?
I think they've gone non-conventional for sure.
There's always, I think that a lot of companies have this I don't know, maybe I'll just call it like a cocaine cycle, where, you go from being a structured, well-run business, maybe with a few renegades, maybe a few people, before it turns into absolute Wolf of Wall Street, where they're just doing blow and there's dwarf wrestling and other nonsense. I can't help but feel like there's been this transition with Tesla that's like reminding me of, when you read the court documents about the stuff that was going on at FTX under Sam Bankman-Fried and everybody's. I'm back, I promise. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you're good.
So I think that it's like when it comes to other companies that just like you read absolute.
Okay. We waited a whole week to get his thoughts on this.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I think we lost. We're losing him.
I was promised he was going to be in his master bed or master bathroom.
Yeah,
so
I addressed that with him. I said, "What happened to the master bathroom?" But well, let's for the time being, because we can't hear you, Will. So I don't know if you could hear us. But what I do want to do is let's move on from Kim K, because I started it off and we probably spent a little too much time on her.
My Temu headset's reconnected, I hope.
There we go.
There you go. We can hear you now.
Okay. So
now we can't hear.
Just pay $10 million.
Yeah.
It's going great, guys.
Yeah.
It's going super great.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I'm gonna have to edit all this out. But anyways, let's move on to Starlink. As everybody knows, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. For anybody that's watching live, so first of all, happy Thanksgiving. Also, this is the time of the year where there's all these Black Friday sales and deals, and something that I think Will came across and found and sent our way was Starlink. So the Starlink Mini is actually on sale, but it's not just Best Buy. You can get it at Best Buy, but also on Starlink's official website, you can go on there and you can get the Starlink Mini, which is regularly $599, is now $449. And this is something that we've talked about a few times on the show, and something that, especially for myself, that I go camping and I'm going to be going to a lot of, remote places. This is almost a must. One thing that I've shared with everybody on the show before is that time that I went camping and, the inverter went out and I was struggling to find service to call for help. And if I had a Starlink, that would definitely help. So, just wanted to share this for everybody that's listening or watching, that if you're in the market for Starlink and you're just kind of waiting for the right time, this might be that time. So,
yeah, I can't speak highly enough of it, because it's like that peace of mind to be able to know that if internet goes down or cellular service goes down, I can just throw that out in the backyard and we're good to go. Actually, a couple weeks ago, that actually happened, where I think it was kind of later in the evening that internet just cut out completely. It was some kind of like down service thing with our ISP, but I just tossed out the Starlink and it was good to go.
Yeah,
nice and easy.
First of all, I just want to say hi to everybody that's in chat. Jay, Bill, Mark, Anthony, everybody that's in there. Hello and happy Thanksgiving. I see you guys all wishing everybody happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, yeah.
Anthony actually makes a funny comment. He goes, Will has the worst Wi-Fi of all time.
Literally.
We got that bong rip at 2 frames a second.
Well, share with everybody, Will, if you could hear us, if we could hear you. The reason why you're outside is
I just have more family over right now.
Perfect. So Will's outside.
He's frozen. He's frozen in the perfect pose for this too. Oh wait, no, I did.
There he goes. So Will's outside. He's not in his normal studio that he's been building because he has family over. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's that time of the year, and he has a bunch of guests inside his home, and so he wanted to, be on the podcast tonight because he did miss last week, and so he's outside. So we do appreciate him making the effort, and unfortunately, the Wi-Fi is not cooperating.
Back, he needs Starlink.
That's what I told him. I said, "Hey, you need a Starlink."
100% Starlink. I mean, you can get like 200 megabytes down on that solid, even from like a phone.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
No, 100%. So let's get into some other things that I wanted to talk about. One thing that I wanted to show, and it's funny because I've always wanted to do this as a video for myself, and I never did. Tesla put this out, and I think it's pretty great. Just kind of showcasing the four-wheel steering and how dramatic it is. As you can see here, the vehicle in the middle has the four-wheel steering on, which is funny because they're showing with the four-wheel steering off. So I didn't even know that was something you could really toggle, but I think it's in the off-road settings, right?
In the off-road settings, you can turn it off to get like a really good side-by-side. They also had, I'm seeing if we can find it real quick just to show. I thought they had posted it, but they had posted like some really good graphics of like showing the degrees of motion both the front and back wheels do. They had this one, but also they had a graphic to show the degrees of motion that it goes inline as well when you're on the highway, because that's something we really hadn't like visually seen yet before.
Mm-hmm.
That I always knew happened, and I always told people that this totally happens, and then it's kind of nice to have a little bit of like justification to back it up. Be like, okay, this is exactly how many degrees the wheels actually turn when you're shifting lanes at high speed.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I love about the Cybertruck, just because it makes it that much more nimble considering how large it is. And I just did camping this past weekend, and there's a lot of truck guys out there with their big lifted trucks, and got a lot of questions, got a lot of looks, and that's one thing that I tell them is it's a big, it's not a huge truck. My previous Ram was much bigger, but it's still, it's a full-size truck, and yet it moves like a sports car. And
right,
the four-wheel steering is one of them. So I just thought this video was really cool. I know everybody that probably watches us and listens to us, already is very aware of how great the four-wheel steering is, but I just really like this video because it really, really shows you how big of a difference it makes.
Yeah, it's huge. That was one of the best things I could do to show people when I test drove, to be like, watch me whip this U-turn one-handed.
Yeah.
And like, what?
Oh yeah.
You can't do that in like normal cars.
Yeah, I did a whole video with one of my buddies who owns a Silverado, and that's that was his big takeaway. He in the video he did a U-turn in his community, and he mentions that typically with his Silverado, there's no way that he's able to do that U-turn, and we were able to do it with this Cybertruck, and also there was a car parked kind of obstructing that U-turn, and we were still able to do it. And he mentioned, he's like, I have a hard time doing it without a car being there, let alone a car sitting right there and in the way. So that's actually a really, really great benefit. Let's see here. So let's move on to the next thing that I have. So another update that actually just dropped today, I believe, was the horn update. So I know I've mentioned in the past that I'm in a big group chat of a bunch of Cybertruck owners, and a few of them made some videos showcasing the process on how to update your horn and also what it sounds like. So I want to kind of just play that video real quick. I know Will's trying to get in. Is he able to get in?
Hopefully that link is working, right?
Here, let me grab him a link. Okay. Oh, there he is. Sorry about that.
Howdy,
Let's
howdy.
go ahead and let's play that video of the. It's like a 2 or 3 minute long video, but I'll put the audio on so everybody can see it, and then you guys can see his YouTube channel. So if you want to go ahead and give him some views or likes or subscribe, then I'm sure he would appreciate that, because he did allow me to share this video with everybody. So if you notice there, I paused it. If you notice, you have to go to your messages to find the update for this. It's not something that you're going to find in the menus. You have to go to your messages, and then in there's a message that lets you know that you can do this. So I just wanted to point that out.
That is a new horn.
Right away, way updated. I mean, that's living in the future right now.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things, right? How instant that update is to the horn. But something that I find very, very interesting is the fact that you can update or upgrade the horn to that new sound, but yet you can't go back. You can't revert back to the old sound. That's interesting to me.
They're probably shipping the newer ones with the new sound, and then they're sending out messages to all of the current VINs that are out there in the wild.
So anybody that watches us for a while, you guys know that I try to hold out on getting that rivet on my pedal as long as I could. And I got to a point where
with fire.
I couldn't do it. Well,
you're gonna die.
I'm gonna kill everybody on the road. But obviously, I had
Kim
to do
Kardashian,
it.
Dude.
If that is the case, what they're looking to do is get everybody to have the new horn sound. I kind of don't want to do the upgrade because I want to have the original, sound. So that way, 20 years from now, if I still have the truck, who knows? But I could sit there and say, I still got that old horn. Come on, it'll compress it, So that'd be something that I'd be curious to know more about. But I thought that was interesting. The fact that you can just very easily go in the app, hit a few buttons, and within seconds, your car has been updated with a new horn sound. I wish there was options for more sounds. I don't know if I'm in love with this sound. Not that I hate it, but I would love more options, and I'm sure maybe there'd be some in the future.
Yeah, and shout out to Maze. Yeah, I like the tires and the side skirts, and as well like the front bumper guard. Those are all really cool.
Oh,
look at the link in the bio. We've got a GoFundMe to fix his phone screen, so please donate so we can help out Maze.
I'll let
all
him
of his
know.
money went to the Cybertruck, so it's
I'll
understandable.
Let him know that we're running a GoFundMe for him, so I'm sure he'd appreciate that. So I thought that was really cool, and I appreciate him allowing us to use his video in the podcast. So now, unfortunately, there's been some, how would you say, just plain and simple, there's been some accidents and some, unfortunately, tragic accident that has happened recently. And so let's go through, we got a few of these that we got to go through some Cybertruck, it's news.
It's novel.
The first one I want to show is this tragic, very, very tragic. 3 people have passed away in a Cybertruck crash up in the Bay Area.
And then I think there was a 4th that they mentioned that was ejected from the vehicle that didn't pass.
This is brutal.
Sure. But because they said that when they found the Cybertruck was on fire, but it wasn't clear, and even they had mentioned in the report that it wasn't the battery that was burning. Like it caught fire some other way.
Yeah, that's
so
that has to be the worst, right? I mean, obviously there's 3 people that lost their lives, which is very, very tragic, but this is by far just looking at the vehicle, it's the worst accident that I have seen with the Cybertruck. So my condolences to everybody that was involved, the families. I don't care what vehicle you're in, you never want to see anything like that. So
it just goes to show you that it's still possible. It's not like it's not completely bulletproof or shatterproof. It's still a vehicle, and you still have to treat it with respect.
Well, it's one of those things where Tesla makes some of the safest vehicles on the road. That's not my opinion. That's fact. You can go online and you can look.
Yeah, that's backed up.
You can go online. You can look that up, and Tesla does a great job with their safety. Cybertruck, from what we've seen so far, has been a relatively safe truck. Obviously, this accident was, it's just one of those things where you couldn't dodge it, unfortunately. And, but yeah, Chase said it best. It just, there's nothing. I don't care if you're in the safest vehicle on the road that was ever made. Anything can happen. And so at the end of the day, you got to always pay attention and be careful and, be aware of your surroundings. There's another incident that has happened that I think Chase shared with us. I still don't know what happened here, and I don't think we have an explanation yet. But as you can see, this Cybertruck, it seemed like the arm, I think the A-arm just broke or bent or something happened here.
This is kind of interesting because we saw this in another crash too, that like early on, if you remember in the early part of this year, everyone was talking about how flimsy that upper control arm was, and I said the same thing because I'm like, this seems like unnecessarily flimsy, but I think it's meant to be that way on purpose because it's not meant to take a whole lot of load, but it is meant to crumple under force because it makes the crumple zone in the front of the Cybertruck include the front wheels that can then crumple in. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here, possibly in reverse. Like if it's, I'm guessing it had to been like a side swipe, but the wheels were already turned out, so it like caught the inner part of the wheel. But yeah, it's just weird. I mean, it's sad because it's got a nice wrap on it and everything. This could possibly total it.
Yeah, I think so. I had this reminds me of my Model 3. Same, not scenario because I don't even know what happened here, but my Model 3, the control arm just broke and the wheel fell off, and it was a pain in the butt for the tow truck guy to get up onto his tow truck because the wheel's not attached. They literally just dragged it, and just at the end of the day, it was a totaled vehicle because they were dragging it left and right, just to get it up onto the tow truck and then to get it off the tow truck. It was a big mess. And that when I seen this photo, that was the first thing I thought of was, wow, I know how this feels, that happened. So it's crazy. Another incident that has happened that I came across was I'm not sure if you guys seen this one, this rear end from a Silverado. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video as well.
Yeah, I agree with what they said underneath that clip too, that I think that if the roles were reversed, the Cybertruck would have automatically broke or applied the brakes.
Yeah. And those are part of the benefits, right, of having the autonomous vehicles, with the technology that they have, 100%, in that situation, if it's driving and you were to fall asleep, number one, it would, alert you, right? It'll let you know, hey, we can see that you're falling asleep. And then also it would have, hit the brakes for you and possibly and hopefully avoided this whole scenario. So unfortunate, once again, that happened. But, like we said in the first video, that we watched, that you gotta pay attention. You can't be falling asleep out there. So we got all those taken care of. Now, I came across this and I thought it's very, very interesting. It's a photo of it's the photo of Tesla. So right here, Sawyer posted this on X, and he says Tesla has released a new picture of its current and future family of vehicles and Tesla bot. So as you can see here, you have, the robo van or bus, as I think is what they call it, the robo cab, the 3 Y, S, X, Cybertruck, Semi, and Optimus. And then Sawyer goes on to say, wait a minute, where's the next gen Roadster? So that's interesting because, not saying, I don't know how much we want to read into this, but I've said it many times. I feel, and this is just my personal opinion, that I don't know anything. I've never thought that the Roadster is ever going to hit the market from the standpoint of being able to buy it.
Yeah.
I think Tesla kind of dug themselves in a hole by doing that referral that they were doing for a while. And there's a lot of people out there that are supposed to get free Roadsters. And I've just never understood how a business can hand out that much free product. The dollar amount is going to be ridiculous. And can they afford it? Of course they can. But just because you can afford something doesn't mean you do it. The PR behind that, if they were ever to officially say we're not going to release it, would be horrible. But also, Tesla doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever will. But when they post a picture like this, it makes you think, right?
Trying to find the picture that we referenced before, the one where we had, it was from one of the meetings earlier this summer, where they shared a photo like this, but it was, some of them were covered up
with like the sheets.
Yeah,
I could probably find that. But yeah, so I just, I don't know. I would love Will's take on this. Will, I think, disappeared again. Tesla, I think you're looking for it, right?
Yeah, I can't find anything away, but yeah, I'm curious to see the difference, because if it is just the model, basically the Roadster that's missing from this image compared to that image, then it's pretty close to what we kind of predicted, where it's like the Model 2, aka Robotaxi, is one thing. We have the van in there that was also kind of teased. And then I think the Roadster was the only thing else that was covered up.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything. I just, that's been my speculation, and it's been my speculation for a few years now. I remember when that was all going down and they were doing those referrals, and I think it was, if you got 100 referrals, you get a free Roadster.
Mm-hmm.
And then the issue came into play where it didn't end. You can get another 100 referrals and get another free Roadster. So there's people literally out there that you can go to their Tesla accounts and it shows on there are 2 or 3 Roadsters. And when I saw that, I'm just thinking to myself, at the time, with no inflation, the Roadster was supposed to be $250,000. I think the top end one was $300,000. And I'm thinking, how are you going to give almost $1 million worth of cars for free to people? To one guy.
I mean, if you give it to Kim Kardashian, then apparently they go.
Well, but I
send some tweets, and it all is the same.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I shared the image. I think that's pretty much it. And what's interesting about this that I don't think anyone has really called out yet is that it was clear in that initial image with the sheet covered over that there was a van.
Yes.
Or a van-looking type of vehicle that was covered up. But based off of, here we go. So assuming in the top row, one of those,
the bus.
Yeah, that's the bus. One in the top row is the Cyber Robotaxi, and then the other could be the Roadster. But the bus, what was interesting is that Franz had mentioned at the reveal event in certain interviews that they had only been working on that for less than a couple months prior to that reveal. And this was well before that. So it probably was the idea that they were going to make, a cyber cab as well as a cyber van. And that's probably where this image came about, is that they're like, all right, cyber van. All right, we'll just take the typical van kind of profile and then cover the sheet over it. But I don't think that they probably anticipated what it was going to turn into. So 100%. I think it's probably 98% safe to say that this is for sure the Robo van.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I would think so. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you think, but I just, like I said, I'm just pulling stuff out of the air right now. But
they make a version of the Cybertruck that's a hatchback that
or it could just be a future vehicle, or it could be the Roadster. Once again, that image with the sheets covering the future vehicles, that could, I truly believe they're going to come out with a Roadster that's going to have that the jet, on the back of it because they've talked about that. I just don't know. I just don't know if it's going to be the Roadster that was talked about and showed years ago when they said one more thing. You know,
Right.
I don't know if it's going to be that, and I don't know if it's going to be something that you can go on Tesla.com and order. Is what I'm saying. Will there be a Roadster? Yeah, I think so. I just don't know if it's going to be something that they're going to sell to people.
It's a side project, that makes any sense. Marketing.
It's going to be, yes, it's going to be a show car. And there'll be 5 in the world. You know, something like that. I just don't think I don't think it's going to go into production, is what I'm saying.
I agree. Well, kind of what we thought about the Cybertruck, and then here we are, like 50,000 Cybertrucks later.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who knows?
Within a year.
What do I know, right? I'm just talking. But I thought that was interesting. That was an interesting photo and observation. Another thing that we wanted to talk about was some drag racing, right?
Yeah, this popped up in the
jets.
Cybertruck owners group. I thought it was just kind of cool that I didn't realize that this was even a possibility. That I guess the NHRA, like Junior Street Division, will race like street vehicles, but because they have like a certain limitation where they can't run. I'm alone. Oh, there we go. They can't run a vehicle that's going to do the quarter mile in faster than 9 seconds. So in order to actually run the Cybertruck to do 9 seconds, they had to like kind of dumb it down in a way. So they both had to deep stage it as well as turn it into chill mode and set the max speed limit to 75 miles an hour just so that it would actually do the quarter mile in 9.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
That is hilarious. Yeah, they had to slow down the Cybertruck for some drag racing. That's hilarious.
His granddaughter is 14 driving this thing, which is that's awesome too. That's really cool to see.
No, 100%. Well, it's amazing to really think about, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, that are listening or watching, or that will have experience or stories about this. But it is really amazing. I see videos all the time where kids at 9 years old are maybe not so much driving cars, but they're driving tractors and excavators, and they're driving. It's that to me is really cool. The fact that. Obviously heavy duty equipment, you got to be careful, but I'm hoping and I'm sure the people that are teaching them the safety and all that stuff. But I just think that's cool. So something like this, you're 100% right. At 14 years old, somebody's granddaughter is out there driving and racing the Cybertruck, and I'm sure all the safety precautions are taken care of, but that's cool. That's really cool, and that's a great experience for her.
Can't imagine, like, my 2.5-year-old will tell you actually all the parts of an excavator and how to operate it, because he's learning all of that from like Blippi and different shows that are on YouTube now. Yeah, he knows so much about heavy machinery than I even knew at his age.
Interesting,
everything and what they're actually called. Like, it's a skid steer, not a bobcat. All these different things. So it's really cool. And then I can't imagine what he thinks about the Cybertruck, because anytime you see one, I just get the reminder from him that, oh yeah, the Cybertruck jumps really high. Yeah, and it's like yep. So I'm curious how much of this will stick with him, the next 12 years, to see if it turns into like, all right, my first vehicle is a Cybertruck. We'll see.
Yeah, well, it's funny because over the weekend, I'm trying to pull something up right quick, but over the weekend, I was camping and I was talking to people, and there was one guy that, he was talking to me about the Cybertruck. I have my rooftop tent on top of it, and he had a trailer and a bunch of people there. They had their trailers and they're camping in their RVs. And I mentioned to him that I have an RV, I have a trailer, but I didn't bring it because I wanted to do the rooftop tent camping. And he looks at me and he goes, "You tow with that?" And I go, "Yeah, I tow with that." He goes, "It can do that?" I go, "Yes, it's a truck. Like, what are you talking about?" And so then I was talking to him about off-roading, and he goes, "That thing can't off-road. There's no way." And I said, "Yes, it off-roads. It actually does a really good job with it." And so then
too good.
I had to do it, Chase.
It's too good of a job off-road.
I went and showed him your video, and he was blown away. He was like, "What?" And I go, "Yeah, that's my buddy. He jumped it." He goes, "Oh my God, that's crazy."
It's too easy. And that's what's crazy is that, like, this is the dual motor. It's not even like the top of the line.
Yeah.
Like, it's just it blows my mind even still today. So
no, 100%. It
go
was
out, get a Cybertruck, take it off road, have some fun with it, get it dirty, break a little thing here or there, and then have some fun with it. That's what it's meant for. Because like if you think about it, like Elon has talked about it for years that when he's making the Model 3 and the Model Y and just the Teslas in general, he's making a vehicle that's not meant to be like the best vehicle on the road, but it's meant to be the the funnest vehicle. Like it's the best experience you can get out of a vehicle, and I think we're starting to see that with not just a vehicle on the road, but vehicle off road too.
Yep, 100%. It's a one thing that I told that gentleman as well is that whenever, or there's been a few times where I go out to the desert and I do some of these photo shoots with the photographer, Kevin. And when we go out, Kevin shoots a lot of off-road vehicles. He does a lot of that type of content, the TRXs, the Raptors, all those guys, right? And he told me one time, we were just having a conversation because, we're driving, and he said, he goes, I experience all of those vehicles, all of the best, right? People regard these as the best off-road vehicles. And he goes, I'm telling you right now, the Cybertruck is up there with them, and in a lot of ways it beats them.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I know there's a lot of videos out there showing the Cybertrucks getting stuck or this and that, whatever. He goes, I've been with Raptors that get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I've been with TRXs that get stuck. He's all, they get stuck too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not just a Cybertruck, but he even said, he goes, yeah, Cybertruck's it's a beast out there on the dirt. So,
oh yeah,
that's somebody that has experienced all those vehicles. So that's something that
totally
he knows.
I'd be lying if I hadn't say that I definitely, the thought crossed my mind to see if I could like convince a buddy that I know that has a Cybertruck out here to let me go jump it again, or like rent one and not say anything.
Yeah,
it's definitely doable and a lot of fun in the right conditions. I don't think we shared it, but I did see last week someone had like jumped one over a sand dune and got a little bit of air with it. I could probably pull it up in a second, but
nothing like you.
No, and it's funny because double cap crimping got notified and pulled into it, and it's like, oh, this is because obviously he had his accident, but it wasn't that impressive. But it's also, I think, a lot riskier to do it in natural, like terrain, like when you're not
on a course,
or something that someone else has jumped with another vehicle, just to be sure. So definitely be smart, be careful about everything.
Yeah. No, yeah, you definitely need to be safe. Like with everything, you got to be safe.
Oh yeah.
Wanted to talk about some other news that came out recently, and that is the Cybertruck. Well, not just Cybertruck. I believe it's all Teslas. Tesla is now officially introducing the end of lease buyouts for all vehicles. It states right here Model 3, Model Y, Cybertruck, and it also says Model S and X. That's something that they weren't doing before, and so
oh man, that's really tempting.
Chase, they're trying to rope you back in.
They're really trying, because like leasing a Cybertruck right now would actually be cheaper than the loan on the Rivian.
Well,
just by like barely, but still, it adds up over time. But we would be limited on miles. That's the only kind of downside. I'm sure it'd be like a 3-year lease.
Yeah, it's very tempting, and well, I think you shared this as well, which is a screenshot that kind of, I think, piqued your interest even more. But it shows the Cybertruck at $77,990. Obviously, and that's the next thing I want to get into, is the fact that they are doubling the referral discount. So what was once $1,000 is now $2,000. Let me see if I can pull that up.
That's big.
But
especially if you have the military discount or whatever we said that you can compound there, like you can get some really good benefits. Yeah, it's getting to the point where like it's hard not to justify it. Well, but like once we see, what I'm curious about is the used market too, and that's something we've actually started to see even now with the Foundation series. Like it's it's something to say that our truck has not been resold yet. because they're trying to sell it for what they bought it for, and it's way too expensive now that you can buy it new for much less.
You definitely sold it at the right time. That was a topic of discussion that you had. You were debating, contemplating whether you should pull the trigger and sell the Cybertruck because you felt like it was the right time to do so, given the fact that you felt like the prices were going to come down. And you were, I think, within a week, maybe not even that, within days.
The tea leaves were and I told my business partner, my goodness, it's dropped in price.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, really?
It's dropped again under what they paid.
Wow.
It's now $89,880.
Wow. So they're struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the timing was right. Honestly, can't be mad at it because it's just business at that point. But yeah, I think the tea leaves are right. I feel like, that 1010 event with the Robotaxi was a good enough catalyst for me to be like, all right, let's push to get this sold like ASAP. And that's what we did. And then what I didn't anticipate is then like completely ending Foundation Series before even 1010. So
yeah, no, you timed it perfectly. But at the same time, it's always, I always say it like this when it comes to pricing things out right and the right time. It's like a home, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to sell high.
Yeah.
But then if you sell high, that means the market's high, which means you're going to go buy high.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Ideally is you buy low. So if you sell high, that's fine. But then you got to kind of wait until it gets to the low point.
Yeah.
I think this is not that case because you sold high and then the market kind of crashed, so to speak, right? And it wasn't that it crashed; it's just non-foundation came out, and now non-foundation eliminated $20,000. So it looks like it crashed. It really didn't. So someone like you, it's like you were able to sell high, and then you can, if you wanted to, you can get back in.
Yeah.
But you went ahead and you got your Rivian, which I know you're loving, but.
If I were to bank though, because let's say non-foundation series started last month in October, roughly. Let's just say 6 months from October. So let's say April of next year. April of next year probably be a good time frame to start looking out for used non-foundation series Cybertrucks to hit the market of people that, for whatever reason, wanted to get out of it. They don't like it. I think the majority of used Cybertrucks that we're seeing right now that are Foundation Series that are going like all on Car Gurus right now that I'm looking at, they're all Foundation Series that people are like, I paid way too much. This is not worth what it was. And they just want to get out of it. And I'm looking at anywhere from still 120,000 to 89 to 91 to 96, 92, 97, all over the place. So it's still pretty high numbers, but I don't think that'll stay very long until we start to see non-foundation series hit that used market. I think that's going to be really telling, because if you had a non-foundation series with 6 months worth of miles on it, so you have like, what, 6,000 to 9,000 miles on it, going for in the 60s, I think that's where we're really starting to see like some great deals on getting into a Cybertruck.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm looking long term. I'm like, okay, we can keep the Rivian for a year and see what we're going to do after that, because then we could easily get into a, trade over to a Cybertruck.
And then you'll be back.
And then you back. Jump it again.
Bring you back home.
Go jump it and feel not bad about it.
Although, you go.
I will say I did see. I've seen in Austin is kind of a weird market for it, because like our Cybertruck is trying to resell in Austin, which is already kind of flooded. That's kind of the downside of it, because there's so many Cybertrucks. Like today I saw 3, and I wasn't out that much. Like I was just kind of doing my normal thing. I saw 3 Cybertrucks just going about. One of which was brand new, that they just picked it up last month, because it still had the temp tags on it, and it had the Pirelli tires with the street kind of aero caps.
Yeah.
Still ugly in person, but I'll hold that.
Well, speaking of that, Jay was in chat earlier, and he says that he got his wheel covers from Tesla. So he was asking if I received mine. I still have not, but I haven't been. I kind of went through 3-week process or 3-week span of my Cybertruck sitting at a service center for a little bit longer than I would have wanted to, and I'm not looking forward to going back there. So I haven't even inquired. They actually reached out to me a few weeks ago asking if I wanted to come in and do some recall, fix some recalls, and
Interesting.
I'm like, no, I'll wait. I want to keep the truck in my garage as long as I can. So I don't need to do that right now. I could wait. Let's get into. I was really hoping Will was going to be on for this one, but because I don't know if it was you or him that brought it up, but we got to talk about Rivian. Rivian got a loan approval for $6.6 billion.
It's big.
To build their EV production facility in Georgia. So, I mean, that's great news. Rivian's stock price has, responded well to that. Well, as we know, and we've covered in the past, that Rivian got the $6 billion from Volkswagen, and now they're, partnering up on some projects. But now they got the money to build their facility, which is great news for them as well. See how this all turns out for them. But once again, as we've talked about in the past, it's something that we really like the Rivian brand and what they're doing, and want to see them succeed and do well. So congratulations to them, and looking forward to seeing what they're able to do with this new facility.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's good looking. Obviously, I invested into Rivian both with a vehicle and stock, so it's all good to see.
Let's actually look at it real quick. So Rivian stock right here. That's one day, but what was it? Here we go.
5% on the day. So
so it's come up,
rebounding pretty good.
That's what you want to see. You want to see.
I'm trying to find the other news that I had with. I think it was a reply. That's where I'm trying to find it. But so one of the guys that work in software for Rivian, Wasim, up on X. Oh, here we go. Found it. The other Rivian news that I have that's very topical is we have been long awaiting the update, and actually Will has talked about this too, of the update to allow you to Chromecast to your Rivian.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that this was kind of a post, be like, let's see what the fuss is about, talking about, Kyle Connor's video, and he's like, yeah, there we go. And then Wasim just posts just hints to drop people oh, by the way, it's perfect duration to watch while I'm charging. And this is not a capability that is actually available. So he's watching a YouTube video on his Rivian before it's even available to the public. So he's teasing out the new update that's supposedly coming in next month.
Interesting.
To be able to play YouTube and Google Chromecast to your Rivian. So that'll be great.
No, that would be great. I mean, I use it all the time. The theater and the Cybertruck when I'm at.
It's greatly missed, especially when you're sitting at a supercharger in the middle of a blizzard. And you just have podcasts. That's unfortunate. That's when you really need it. But I mean, even today, I went to go pick up my son from training, and get in the parking lot. Got a few minutes to kill. I go and put on YouTube, and I watch some of my own videos. No, I didn't do that. I was watching something from ESPN, but that's great. I still don't know. I guess I don't know why that wasn't something that they had in the Rivians from the beginning. But I agree. I think they're dealing with the iOS. I think is Android based, whereas Tesla's all Linux based.
That's true.
So they're having Google Play issues. Obviously, Alexa's all integrated with it as well, so Amazon has a say. It's just it's the whole Apple versus Android kind of argument versus Tesla and Rivian. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah, so Austin is in chat, and he mentions that the theater mode and the dog mode he says are the only things that he likes more in his Model Y than the R1T in his R1T.
R1T should have a dog mode if you look in the.
Well, I think he mentioned settings. Specifically internal dog mode camera. I don't know if there's a camera.
Dog mode camera, yeah. We don't have that.
Yeah.
Nope.
So, theater is a big thing. You know, it's very convenient. You know, first world problems, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
I will say though, after our road trip, I was shocked about how many locations and superchargers were very like friendly to non-Tesla setup charging. Like I never had one issue.
Well, it's a good conversation because I know somebody that has a Rivian, and he literally posts, and I'll see if I can find it real quick. He literally posts the other day, you know, because he just took delivery of a Rivian recently, a R1S, and he mentions how it's almost embarrassing to go because of the setup, you know, because of the placement of the charger, the charge port on the Rivian. Let me see.
We only had, I want to say one. I could share them too because I took pictures of each like charging station, and even then, the one that I'm thinking of that was like kind of sketchy was not sketchy at all. Like it was not like this where I had to like park separately and kind of do that. Honestly, I never ran into any issues of like not being able to like park respectively for other patrons with the charger. And even there, I think is a good example. I think that's probably what the one I'm thinking of happened, where it was like we were parked next to the charger, but I think there was enough chargers that it didn't really make a difference available, because most of them were pull-through chargers. If not, they were V4 chargers that were centered in the lane, so you pull forward, and then V4 had enough to like reach around, and that was no problem.
Yeah, I've seen a few times where I go to a supercharger and there's a Rivian that's parked, taking up multiple spots, or they're like on the opposite side of the chargers, and there's always kind of a weird. I know we've talked about that many times in the past, where there really needs to be. I mean, everybody's going to NACS, right? Everybody's doing. 100%. So if that's where everyone's going, then there needs to be a universal placement for the port on the vehicle.
I agree,
or at least that's what's got to be. Like, no questions asked.
Some of the pull-through parking could accommodate both. Like, whereas like a lot of these chargers, we were pulled in front ways, whereas Teslas would be pulled in back ways, but it still worked both ways. Like, the one that the V4 charger that I just shared, that's a good example of like it could go both ways because they just placed the V4 with a long enough cable in the middle of the parking spot, and it doesn't matter. But the first one I showed, that was the sketchy one where we had to park offset to be able to get it to work. Yeah, this one's the V4. So we hit this charger twice. And every single time we were front ways, and then all the other Teslas were backwards, obviously. But it's plenty enough room to be able to charge.
Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah, if you're able to pull in or and charge, and you're not obstructing anything, then that's fantastic.
Yep. And it was at a Toot and Totem, which is the off-brand buggies for northern Texas and Oklahoma, but also had a Wendy's like within walking distance. So it was well put together, good fast charging,
and most importantly, you weren't having to sit in. I'm trying to pull it up.
Not in the snow.
You didn't have to sit in this.
Yeah, which what you're not seeing in this photo is how I almost bust my ass getting out of the Rivian, because all the black top is all ice. You can see it; it's kind of shiny there. Yeah, that's all ice below there.
Oh yeah, no, that's no fun. And I'm sure I don't know what shoes you had on, but they probably weren't ready for that.
No, and then on our way home, at this very charger, our adapter, the A to Z adapter, got stuck on the charger.
Oh, did it really?
To the point where like I couldn't get it off, and I kept like restarting the charge to like kind of disengage it
from the cold.
And
wow.
And to the point where like the supercharger stopped working because we kept like trying to reactivate it, and I was like, okay, it doesn't work anymore. So I had to call Tesla, and I'm like, hey, this is not working. This is what the issue is, and had to be like, okay, I don't actually have a Tesla anymore, because they were trying to like look up my account. And then I don't know what he did, if he did anything to the supercharger, like but him being on the phone was actually nice enough to like it just popped off. It just happened. So after maybe a set amount of time, it worked. But that was kind of a sketchy situation of like having our adapter like stuck to the supercharger and we couldn't leave. So that's not great.
Yeah,
but
fun times.
Could have
right?
been the cold. Could have been the cold because it was like 30s, low 30s.
Well, yeah. On that note, I mean, I don't know if there's anything else that you have, Chase.
Oh, I did post the jump that we mentioned earlier, the Gregor truck.
Did I miss it?
Where is the dunes up in Michigan?
Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah, let's pull that up real quick. So you want to show the guy that tried to jump his Cybertruck better than you, and he couldn't do it.
I mean, it's impressive that it can go up this dune in the first place, but
it's cool. Not bad.
Yeah, I think I even commented on it. I was like, this. He made the same mistake that I did because I didn't like in my mind. I'm like, okay, once the truck leaves the air or like leaves the ground and it's in air, I need to like let off the accelerator. But that's actually the opposite of what you need to do, because as soon as you let off the accelerator, the wheel stops spinning and then your inertia goes dip down.
You nosedive.
Yeah, so you actually want to like go up into the air and then keep on the accelerator until you hit the ground, and then you can let off. So that's where you get more of a level. I only learned that honestly from all of the other Raptors that diagnosed all of my videos out here, and they were like, "Hey, by the way, this is how you really do it, and this is how you get it really smooth." Because they're really proud of having like a ramp that's like flat and then landing that's flat, because it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's like gymnastics. You know, you got to stick that landing.
Yeah, totally.
You know, it's not just getting up in the air; it's how you land it. So
either way, mad respect for taking the balls to go over doing like that.
100%. Well, it's funny because I was in the Salton Sea this past weekend down here in Southern California, near Indio, Palm Springs area, and they had a whole course, like off road, but it's out in the desert, and there's like a whole course. And I looked at that, and I'm like, I want to try it. I want to try it. I don't know if I could do it. I don't even know the details. But I just saw it, and I was in a Razor, and so we were speeding around, going crazy, and I saw that, and I'm like, that'd be kind of cool. I want to bring the Cybertruck just to see. I mean, I think that'd be great content. I don't know if I'll get stuck there.
Yeah, if it's out in the middle of nowhere, you definitely want to take some help.
Yeah, that's well, I told the guy that was driving the Razor, I said, hey, I want to bring the Cybertruck. He goes, well, if you get stuck, I'm not helping you get it out. I was like, all right, fair enough. So, all right, Chase, well, that's all I got for tonight. Appreciate everybody joining us in chat.
Likewise.
Obviously, LJ, Jay, Mark, Austin, Anthony, Bill, everybody. By the way, Bill, we talked about last week, I don't know if you remember, Chase, we talked... we were trying to help Bill with his scenario of whether or not he should pull the trigger on his Cybertruck. He officially pulled the trigger on his Cybertruck. So
nice.
He's I believe he has a delivery date, and so we're just waiting for him to give us the big news that he took delivery and see how excited he is with his new baby. So
go find some dirt and do some donuts.
Yep.
Do us all a favor.
Yep. Go have fun with it. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in. As always, appreciate all of you guys, and happy Thanksgiving to all of those who celebrate, and we'll be enjoying that with your families tomorrow. Once again, one thing that I have shared on my channel is that the number one thing I did in my review at the end of my video, I said the number one thing that I enjoy the most about having a Cybertruck is the fact that I've been able to meet a lot of people. Obviously, Chase, Will, and then all of everybody. I've met Jay in person, so that was a great experience. One of the great joys of the year so far, and really appreciate and thankful for having that opportunity to just meet so many new people and have this experience and having fun with the Cybertruck and talking about it and doing videos on it. So very thankful 100%. For that. So
yeah, it's been a hell of a fun year and much to be thankful for sure.
Yep. And we got to keep it going. So
hell yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you, Chase.
Cool.
Talk to you later. Thank you, Will, wherever you're at.